The big question for me in that timeline is, why didn't we do it sooner? Why did it take so long? Why did we wait until after 12,000 years ago, really after 10,000 years ago, to start seeing the beginnings of civilization?
The camera sweeps over endless dunes of the Egyptian Sahara, where the wind whispers through chalk formations sculpted like ancient sentinels in the white desert. The sun hangs high, merciless, turning the landscape into a sea of gold and shadow. Here, in this barren expanse that stretches for millions of square kilometers, journalist and explorer Graham Hancock stands at the edge of what he believes is one of history's greatest untold stories. For decades, Hancock has challenged the conventional narrative of human civilization, arguing that an advanced society existed long before the dawn of recorded history, only to be wiped out around 12,000 years ago in a cataclysmic event at the end of the last ice age. Now, in his most recent expeditions, he is turning his gaze to the Sahara and the ancient coastal pyramids of Peru, piecing together fragments of a lost world that mainstream archaeology has largely overlooked. Hancock's latest journey into the Egyptian Sahara, completed just months ago with his wife and photographer Santha Faya, took them across 5 major oases: Siwa, Bahariya, Farafra, Dakhla, and Karga, and deep into the desert beyond the tourist trails. They traveled rugged routes rarely seen by outsiders, navigating sandstorms and isolation to document what he calls a fertile prehistoric paradise buried beneath the dunes. The Sahara wasn't always a desert, Hancock explains in his field notes, his voice steady against the howling wind captured on camera. Around 11,000 years ago, at the end of the Ice Age, it was green, lush with rivers, lakes, and savannas teeming with life. Human populations thrived here. Then, between 6,500 and 5,000 years ago, it dried up dramatically. That timeline aligns too perfectly with the sudden emergence of pre-dynastic Egypt along the Nile to be mere coincidence. As the crew follows him through the oases, ancient rock art flickers into view. Paintings of giraffes, elephants, and cattle herders etched on cave walls, silent witnesses to a time when this region supported complex societies. Hancock points to geological evidence, dried riverbeds and paleo lakes that once fed vast networks of settlements. He argues that as the rains failed and the desert claimed the land, survivors migrated eastward to the Nile Valley, carrying knowledge that seeded the rise of dynastic Egypt. But it's not just migration. He sees deeper connections, mysterious links to ancient Mesopotamia, Anatolia, India, China, and even South America suggest a shared legacy from a far older source. Mainstream archaeology has barely scratched the surface, he says, gesturing across the horizon. Less than 0.1% of this 9.2 million square kilometer desert has seen deep excavation. We're told there's nothing here that changes the human story. I disagree. The Sahara holds the key to a lost civilization that influenced the world. The expedition footage cuts to drone shots gliding over the dunes, revealing subtle anomalies, possible buried structures hinted at by satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar that Hancock's team consulted. He draws parallels to his earlier work on the Younger Dryas period, when comet impacts or massive floods may have triggered global catastrophe, submerging coastal lands and erasing advanced societies. In the Sahara, he envisions survivors regrouping, preserving astronomical knowledge, engineering techniques, and perhaps even sophisticated spiritual practices. The camera lingers on Hancock examining stone tools and pottery fragments at remote sites, his hands brushing away centuries of sand. These aren't primitive artifacts, he notes. They point to organized communities with trade networks stretching across continents. Shifting scenes transport us thousands of miles away to the Pacific coast of Peru, where Hancock's recent research trip uncovered another piece of the puzzle. Amid the arid plains north of Lima, he explored a cluster of ancient pyramid cities, Bandurria, Caral, Aspero, and Peñico, that are rewriting timelines of the Americas. Drone footage reveals towering step pyramids and plazas built from massive stone blocks, some dating back 5,700 to 4,600 years ago, based on radiocarbon analysis. These structures predate or rival the earliest Egyptian pyramids, yet they receive far less attention in global narratives. Hancock walks the sites at dawn, the mist rising from the ocean as he examines the precise alignments and monumental scale. "Look at Caral," he says, pointing to the circular amphitheater and sunken courts. This wasn't a small village. It was a sophisticated urban center with irrigation systems, trade in cotton and fish, and architecture that speaks of planning and hierarchy. And it's older than many want to admit. In his update from the writing room, shared publicly while preparing his forthcoming book for spring 2027, Hancock highlights how these Peruvian pyramids challenge the idea that complex civilization began in isolation. The sites show evidence of early monumental construction without pottery in some layers, suggesting advanced builders arrived with pre-existing knowledge. He connects this to his broader theory, a global network of influence from a lost Ice Age civilization, perhaps one that mastered navigation, astronomy, and sacred geometry. These coastal pyramids aren't just tombs or temples, he reflects. They encode mathematical and astronomical data, much like Giza in Egypt. The builders understood the Earth's cycles, the stars, and possibly even the cataclysms that reshaped their world. Interwoven with these explorations is Hancock's ongoing fascination with consciousness and ritual. In Peru's highlands, near sites like Chavin de Huantar, he has documented how ancient architects designed spaces for shamanic sound rituals, acoustics that induce trance states, combined with sacred plants to explore altered realities. His team captures audio of echoing chambers where low-frequency vibrations resonate through stone, potentially used for spiritual communion. Our ancestors didn't just build monuments, Hancock observes. They engineered portals to other realms of the mind. Psychedelic rituals in these sacred spaces may have preserved knowledge from the lost world passed down through generations. Back in the Sahara, the narrative deepens as Hancock connects the dots to underwater mysteries and submerged landscapes worldwide. Rising sea levels at the end of the Ice Age drowned vast coastal plains where early civilizations likely flourished, places now hidden beneath oceans, much like the green Sahara vanished under sand. He references recent marine archaeology and his Netflix series, Ancient Apocalypse, which explored similar ideas across the Americas, from Amazonian geoglyphs to Mesoamerican sites. Season 2, featuring collaborations that brought fresh eyes to these enigmas, reinforced his conviction. Humanity's story is far older and more interconnected than textbooks claim. "We've ignored the elephant in the room," he says during a fireside conversation in camp. "A catastrophic history that archaeology has sidelined. Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, at 11,000 years old, isn't an anomaly, it's a survivor. The Sphinx's water erosion hints at origins thousands of years earlier. And now, the Sahara and Peru's pyramids add to the evidence." Critics accuse Hancock of cherry-picking data or promoting pseudoscience, but he remains undeterred, emphasizing rigorous fieldwork and open inquiry. During his recent interviews, including appearances discussing the Great Pyramid's hidden chambers and possible non-tomb functions, He calls for drilling and scanning to reveal truths buried in stone. The pyramid isn't just a burial site, he argues. Its geometry encodes planetary data, Earth's dimensions, rotations, even a blueprint of advanced knowledge. Who built it? Not the standard narrative, survivors of something greater. As the documentary visuals fade from desert sunsets to Peruvian coastal waves, Hancock stands on a pyramid summit in Peru, the Pacific stretching endlessly below. His voice carries a quiet urgency. What if the first civilizations weren't in the Nile or Mesopotamia, but scattered across a world we barely remember? The Sahara's buried cities, Peru's forgotten pyramids, they're not isolated. They're echoes of a global legacy, one that understood cataclysm, resilience, and the stars. My new book will lay this out in detail, drawing from these expeditions and years of research. But the real work lies ahead. More exploration, more questions, less dogma. The crew packs up under a starlit sky in the Sahara, where ancient fires once burned and stories were told around oases now dry. Hancock's quest continues, not as a lone voice, but as a bridge to rethinking humanity's past. In an era of satellite mapping and advanced science, vast swaths of our planet remain unexplored, under sand, sea, and assumption. His recent Gabashona, or deep investigations, remind us that history isn't settled. It's a living mystery, waiting for those willing to dig deeper. The lost civilization may not be myth after all. It could be the foundation we stand on, forgotten but not gone. As the camera pulls back over the dunes, the wind carries the promise of revelations yet to come, urging us to listen to the stones, the sands, and the silenced voices of our ancestors.